My beloved child, I need you to listen carefully, not with your ears, but with your spirit, because this moment is not ordinary. It is not just another video. It is a divine interruption. You have felt something, haven't you? A quiet unrest, a shadow behind familiar eyes, a sudden silence in the middle of a conversation that used to feel like home. And still, you told yourself, maybe it's nothing. But I am here to tell you, it is something, and heaven has seen it, and I, Archangel Michael, have been sent to speak what others will not say. There is someone you love deeply, not an enemy, not a stranger, but someone who knows your voice, your ways, your kindness, and they are standing between you and your breakthrough. Yes, child, that ache in your spirit is not paranoia. It is protection. You've been asking heaven to open the door. You've been praying for peace, for clarity, for the next step. But what you didn't see, what your soul already knew, is that someone close has been unknowingly or deliberately blocking what belongs to you. A person you care for has become the gatekeeper of your delay. And heaven says, no more. This is your moment of unveiling, because I know how deeply you feel, how loyal you are, how much grace you offer, and that same grace, while holy, has also left you vulnerable to spiritual blindness, not because you are weak, but because you are loving. But now, the season of delay is ending, and heaven has sounded the alarm. Someone you trust is entangled in bitterness, guilt, or jealousy, not in open rebellion, but quiet erosion, and their presence near you is dimming your vision. Their touch carries silence, their words are soft, but their spirit is heavy. And you have been absorbing what they carry. That's why your energy feels off. That's why your confidence has been shaken. That's why, despite praying, you feel like something is still pressing down on you. Beloved, this is not coincidence. It is interference, and heaven is declaring divine intervention. Right now, the angels are encircling you. Your tears, the ones you cried in silence, they were not ignored. Your sleepless nights, your whispering prayers, they've reached the throne, and heaven's answer is this: remove the mask, reveal the hidden, break the agreement of silence. Because there was a moment, not long ago, where a choice was made in secret, a plan whispered behind your back, not with swords, but with shadows. And that shadow has wrapped itself around your blessing, keeping you locked in delay. But I have come to break it. I speak to your spirit now. This is not your fault. Your love was pure, your trust was real, but what you didn't know is that the person you gave your heart to has been carrying a weight that doesn't belong near your promise. And so heaven says, let them go inwardly, release the illusion. Not with hate, not with rage, but with holy clarity, because what is meant for you will not be stolen, but it can be delayed if you remain attached to what no longer aligns. Do you feel that stirring? That pressure in your chest, the chills without wind, the tears trying to surface? That is your spirit recognizing truth. And I urge you, do not scroll away, because in the next moments, what I reveal will shake the foundation of what you thought was real, but it will also set you free. The one you love, the one you trusted, is not your enemy. But they are not standing with you either. They are standing in front of your door, not knocking, but blocking. And God is saying, that door must open. Beloved, this is your season of sight. Your dreams, your instincts, your unease, they were never random. They were divine signals. Flashes of a truth too big to speak, too dangerous to confront, too painful to accept, until now, because what heaven reveals next will change everything. So stay, don't move, not until the next word, but beloved. This message wasn't meant to startle you. It was meant to prepare you, because before the truth sets you free, it will shake you. It will walk straight into your peace and ask, are you sure this is real peace, or just your silence pretending to be safety? You have stayed so quiet, so respectful, so forgiving. But that forgiveness has turned into self-neglect, and heaven has seen it. You've made excuses for things that broke your spirit. You've explained away behaviors that your soul screamed were wrong. And now heaven says, stop shrinking to fit the lie. This is not about exposing them. This is about reclaiming you, because something in you, that sacred ancient voice, already knows what this is. You've felt it in the pauses, in the oft-timed smiles, in the way they change the subject when your spirit gets too loud. Heaven didn't send this message to create fear. It sent this message to wake you up. And now that you're listening, now that the veil has lifted even just a little, you will not be able to pretend anymore. The truth will follow you, because it's time. You were never meant to walk forward while something sacred was pulling you back, and heaven is pulling you forward. Beloved child, you stayed. You didn't turn away when it got uncomfortable, and that means everything, because it tells heaven you're ready, not just for comfort, but for clarity. There is a reason this message keeps echoing in your heart, a reason you've been uneasy, even around familiar faces. You sense something, don't you? Not spoken, not admitted, but undeniably present. That feeling, that heaviness around certain people, that shift in the air when they enter the room. The way your spirit dims, even when their words seem kind, beloved. That is not your imagination, it's discernment. And heaven is confirming what your soul has been whispering. Something is not as it seems. The one you love deeply, the one you trust, may be the very one heaven is trying to protect you from. I know that's hard to hear. I know it feels like betrayal to even consider. But this is not accusation. It's revelation. Because not every block is violent. Some blocks are gentle, emotional, disguised as care. They hug you but secretly hold resentment. They pray with you but privately question your growth. They say they love you, but your spirit doesn't rest near them, and that is your sign. You've been shrinking yourself. You've second-guessed your worth. You've wondered why every door opens halfway, but never fully. Why the peace you seek always slips through your fingers at the last moment. It is because your blessings are being delayed by the very connection you're too afraid to question. Heaven is not angry with you. You were not foolish. You loved sincerely, but now love alone is not enough. You need wisdom, you need vision, you need distance, because if you stay tethered to what drains you, you will never fully walk into what's been prepared for you. And the person who's blocking you, they may not even realize what they're doing. They may smile, they may say all the right things, but spiritually, they are out of alignment. And that misalignment is interfering with your destiny. Last night, something shifted. You felt it, a word, a glance, a hesitation. Something in them broke the illusion. And even if you can't explain it, your spirit noticed. Heaven is saying now, what you saw was real. What you felt was true. Don't dismiss the signs I've sent. You've been warned through dreams. You've heard their name too often in your thoughts. You've seen their face in moments where you were praying for direction. That's not coincidence. That's confirmation. And now, the mask is slipping. Don't rush to confrontation. Don't fall into chaos. Just watch. Heaven is about to show you what was hidden. Let their silence speak. Let their inconsistencies reveal themselves, because the truth is already unraveling. And I, Archangel Michael, say this with divine authority. The truth is not coming to hurt you. It's coming to free you. You've been strong. You've endured more than they know. And still you've smiled. You've served. You've stayed kind. But beloved, your loyalty must now turn inward, because your spirit is tired of pretending. You've dimmed your light to keep the peace. You've held your tongue to protect their image. You've ignored the warnings to preserve the bond. But heaven whispers, the bond was broken long before you noticed, and I have come to sever it completely. Because what waits on the other side of this realization is your divine restoration. The blessings that have felt stuck, the ideas that never took root, the healing that always paused mid-process. All of it waiting for the moment you let go. You don't need to beg for answers. Heaven will deliver them. You don't need to search for proof. The truth is walking toward you with undeniable clarity. Stay in your peace, stay in prayer, and most importantly, stay open. Because in the next part of this message, I will reveal what they've said behind your back, not to break you, but to awaken you. Beloved, you're almost there. Beloved one, you felt it. And now I must speak what has been silently circling your soul. The person you trusted, the one you opened your heart to, has been hiding something, not always with malice, not with evil on their tongue, but with silence that screamed louder than truth. And heaven has watched long enough. I am Archangel Michael, and what I tell you now is not to punish, but to prepare, because you deserve to know what has stood between you and your blessing. Last night, a moment occurred. You may not have noticed it with your eyes, but your spirit flinched. Something was said, or perhaps left unsaid, and it shook the air around you. That moment, it was a crack in the illusion, a moment when their mask slipped, if only for a second. You thought, why did they look away like that? Or, why did that conversation end so quickly? Your intuition was alert. You just didn't want to believe it. But heaven says now, you saw what you saw. You felt what you felt. Stop silencing your discernment to protect someone else's deception. Because, beloved, this is deeper than discomfort. This is a spiritual entanglement. They are smiling in front of you, but whispering behind you. They are holding your hand in the light, but questioning your name in the dark. And now the whispers have become louder. In the spiritual realm, the angels have heard the private conversations, the doubts, the resentments, the comparisons. They pretend to celebrate you, but inside, they struggle with your growth. They say they want the best for you, but they feel safer. When you are small, and heaven says, this is not love, it is bondage in disguise. Your loyalty has delayed your breakthrough. Your kindness has covered their compromise. You've been defending their behavior to others, saying they're just tired, or they're going through something. But in truth, beloved, they are going through you, using your light to fuel their shadow, your favor to hide their fear, and every time you bend to protect them, you break a little more. But not anymore, because heaven has sent this message to disrupt the pattern. You've prayed for breakthrough, you've fasted, you've asked for direction, and heaven is answering, just not the way you expected. The door is not stuck, it's being held shut, and the hand on the other side belongs to the one you least expected. Let that sink in. The delay isn't demonic, it's relational. Your greatest opposition is not always an external force. Sometimes it's an emotional tie, one you defended, one you cherished, one you couldn't imagine doubting until now. But now, you know, you've seen the signs, you've heard the slip of the tongue, you've caught the glance they thought you missed, and most of all, your spirit won't let it go. Because what you don't confront, spiritually, will consume you emotionally. You are not crazy, you are not paranoid, you are discerning, and heaven is backing you up. There is a plan being uncovered. Something said about you, casually but carelessly. An agreement made in a conversation you were never invited to. Words that should have defended you, but didn't. A silence that should have protected you, but didn't. And now the angels say, let it be revealed. You don't have to chase the truth. You don't have to dig for proof. The divine will bring it to your doorstep. A message will surface, a conversation will repeat, a third party will mention something they weren't supposed to hear. A dream will make it clear. And when it happens, you will remember this moment. Beloved, do not retaliate, don't rage, don't beg, just recognize. This was the hidden weight slowing you down. This was the tether tied around your future, and now it must be cut. Because what God has for you can no longer be delayed by their doubts. You are stepping into a divine unveiling, and I must tell you this. They will pretend nothing happened, They will smile. They will ask why you're distant. They will say, "Is everything okay?" But you will know. You will feel the shift. You will hear the echo of heaven's voice. You are not the problem. You are the prophecy. This moment is not rejection. It is repositioning. You are not being abandoned. You are being realigned. And in the next part of this message, I will show you how heaven is now setting the stage for your breakthrough, not after the deception ends, but because the deception was revealed. So stay. The veil is tearing, and the truth is walking straight toward you. They won't say it out loud, but you felt it in the shift of their tone, in the moments they suddenly go silent, when your spirit speaks too loud, in the way they pause. Not because they're lost in thought, but because they're choosing which truth to hide from you next. Beloved, do not ignore this. You've asked heaven to speak, and heaven is answering through your own unease. The pressure in your chest, it is not anxiety. It is the vibration of discernment. You are not imagining it. You are not dramatic. You are not too sensitive. You are anointed, and that anointing is now reacting to what was once allowed, but no longer aligned. Even their silence has become a message, because absence is still communication, and avoidance is still a decision. Heaven has seen how you've quieted yourself just to keep them from turning away, how you've rephrased your own convictions just to remain approachable. But now the spirit within you is growing louder than the need to be liked. This is the birthing of a new authority, not the kind that demands, but the kind that discerns. You know now, not because they told you, but because heaven revealed it in the stillness of your own grief, that sinking feeling after they speak, that invisible wall that rises when you try to share your heart, that moment you hesitate before calling them again. These are not coincidences. They are confirmations. Heaven has been speaking in fragments, but now the fragments are forming a full picture, and you must stop brushing it aside. Your hesitation is no longer just emotional. It is prophetic. The very people you defended in prayer are now the ones heaven is asking you to release. And this does not mean they are evil. It simply means they are not permitted to walk with you into the next revelation. There are promises being fulfilled now, answers forming behind the veil, and some relationships are no longer strong enough to carry the weight of what God is handing you. Let go with grace, but do not hold back the truth. Let your silence be holy, not hesitant. Let your stillness speak, not out of fear, but out of reverence for what heaven is preparing. Because the next time you feel that chill, that knowing, that sudden clarity, don't doubt it, don't explain it away, acknowledge it, because your spirit isn't confused. It's just been waiting for your mind to catch up. Beloved one, heaven does not whisper without reason. And tonight, that whisper is not soft. It is a cry, a holy sound rumbling through the unseen realms, because heaven is finished waiting. I, Archangel Michael, have stood long enough between you and what was kept from you, and now with divine authority I say, enough is enough. You have carried too much, believed too much, and given too much trust to those who offered you only half-truths. They smiled. They nodded. They said, "I'm here." But their loyalty was conditional. Their words were safe, but their silence was sharp. And that silence, heaven heard it louder than any shout. Last night something shifted. A conversation took place. You may not know the words, but your spirit flinched. And now I tell you, what they thought was private was witnessed by the angels, because nothing spoken about you in darkness escapes the ears of light. You've asked heaven, show me what I cannot see. And the answer is coming faster than you think. Their tone changed, their posture shifted, and they think you didn't notice, but your soul did. That chill in your chest. It wasn't fear. It was confirmation. Beloved, the ones you trusted with your Softness have mishandled your name behind your back, but do not rage, do not fall apart, because this is where divine justice begins. You've been faithful in silence. You've held back your truth out of love. You've given second chances to people who only offered you confusion in return. And now, heaven is responding. This moment is not just revelation. It's a reversal. The words spoken against you will now be turned back on their source. The confusion they tried to trap you in is the very net that will now ensnare their own deception. Because the truth was never lost. It was preserved. For this moment, God waited until your heart was ready, so you could receive the full truth without bitterness, without revenge, only with clarity. Beloved one, you are not here to destroy, you are here to discern. And discernment is rising now like light, breaking through a closed window. You see more, you hear more, you feel deeper. And what once made you doubt yourself now makes you certain. The plans made behind your back will not prosper. The intentions twisted in secret will not block what is yours. Because heaven has stepped in. You may ask, why now? Why didn't I see it before? And heaven replies, because love blinded you. But now, love is clearing your vision. Your heart was never the weakness, it was the mirror. And now it reflects exactly what they never wanted you to see, their discomfort with your growth, their resistance to your joy, their quiet competition, their fear of your awakening. But do not fear. Because even now, heaven is shifting the atmosphere around you, removing hidden hands, revealing deleted evidence, uncovering silent prayers. Yes, even the ones you forgot you prayed, the late-night sighs, the whispered, God, is it them? All of it was heard, and now it's answered. Beloved, in the next 3 days, pay attention. You will see something, hear something, a name, a phrase, a sudden confession, and when it comes, you will remember this moment. The truth was never hidden from heaven. Let your peace speak louder than their panic. Don't chase them, don't explain. Let your stillness testify. Because when God fights for you, your only job is to stay quiet and stay clean. Your restoration has already begun. I see your tears, not the ones that fall, but the ones that you refuse to release because you've grown too tired to cry. Heaven has gathered them, stored them, and now waters those tears into the field where your miracle will grow. And child, it is growing. You may feel nothing, but under the surface, justice is moving. God is restoring not just what was taken, but what was never even offered to you, because they never believed you'd rise. But you are rising, and they see it. They feel it, that unease in their chest, that nervous energy around you. It's the presence of heaven surrounding you like fire. And I declare this, the fire will not burn you. It will illuminate you. This is why they're distant now, why their communication is vague, why their timing seems off, because the cover they hid behind is falling. And when the next word slips, when the next reaction is just a little too forced, your spirit will say, there it is. That's what I was sensing. And you'll be right, you always were. In the next part, I will tell you exactly what to do when the truth is confirmed, not with speculation, but with revelation. And beloved, what happens next will not just clear the path, it will open the heavens. Beloved, child, now that the veil has lifted, now that you have seen with spirit eyes what the flesh could not accept, I must ask you a sacred question. What will you do with the truth? You know now, not because someone confessed, not because they explained themselves, but because heaven showed you, and your soul, trembling but alert, whispered, this is it. This is the moment. The deception was never loud. It was quiet, polite, draped, in softness and routine, but beneath that there was calculation, an effort to contain your growth, to drain your clarity, to question your calling. And you, beloved, you were never blind, you were loyal. But now, Loyalty must give way to alignment, because your destiny is not a group decision, and your miracle does not require their permission. Let me say this with divine authority. What was hidden has been seen. What was whispered has been heard. What was meant to break you will now bless you. You may be tempted to shrink, to pretend you didn't feel it, to make peace for the sake of comfort. But peace built on silence is not peace. It is spiritual delay, and you don't have time to delay anymore. Heaven is moving faster than ever. Doors are swinging open. But if you remain bound to what blocked you, you will miss the gates made only for you. This is why I've come, to separate your soul from what no longer carries the fragrance of heaven. There are names that once brought joy. Now they bring confusion. There are rooms you used to sit in, but now your spirit fidgets. That is not disrespect. That is divine displacement. You are not meant to stay where your discernment cannot breathe. And the person who once felt like home has become a hallway, temporary, transitional, not your destination. Do not mourn the loss of what was never supposed to be permanent. You've cried long enough. You've replayed the moments, the glances, the missed words, the hesitations. But now, heaven is giving you permission to release what never truly held you. The only thing binding you was guilt, and guilt is not from God. Guilt kept you quiet. Guilt made you second-guess your intuition. Guilt told you to stay one more time when heaven was already preparing your exit. So today, we break agreement with guilt. Say it aloud or whisper if you must. I choose clarity over confusion. I choose truth over illusion. I choose peace, not pretending. This is your moment of power, not because you're angry, but because you're awake, and the awakened soul cannot return to slumber. Beloved, what you're feeling now is not anxiety, it's authority. It's the shaking of old alignments. It's the release of weight that never belonged to you. It's the echo of heaven saying, step forward, unafraid, unapologetic, unattached to what was. Because the person who stood in your way may still smile, may still speak gently, but their energy no longer matches your path. And that mismatch, it's costing you peace. You have sacrificed your clarity to maintain their comfort, but the longer you delay this separation, the longer you stay behind the breakthrough. Your miracle is not on the other side of more patience. It's on the other side of release. Release what? Release them. Release the version of them you created in your heart, because heaven sees them clearly. And now, so do you, and you cannot unsee it. You cannot unknow what has been revealed. You don't need revenge. You don't need a grand exit. You just need one holy decision. I will no longer bind myself to what blocks my blessings, because the angels are watching, not to see if you're perfect, but to confirm your obedience. You've prayed for change, and this is it. It just didn't come in the form you expected. It came through clarity, through disruption, through truth. You weren't supposed to survive, but you did. And now heaven is rewarding you, the shift in the air. It's real. The tension around certain names, it's confirmation. The sudden urge to clean your space, cut the conversation short, or simply go silent. That is your soul returning to alignment. Let it. Let the shaking happen. Let the false connections fall away, because what God has for you can no longer be delayed by someone else's doubt. In the next part of this message, I will tell you exactly what heaven is preparing, not just for your peace, but for your promotion. Because this was not just a test, it was a turning point. And you've passed, beloved soul, if you're still here, still listening, still breathing under the weight of this truth, then know this. You were never meant to stay broken. You were never meant to carry what others buried. You were never meant to bleed for their silence. You were meant to rise. Archangel Michael, say this with the full authority of heaven. The plan has shifted, and so must you. This is not just about betrayal. not just about who lied or who looked the other way. This was about your activation, your elevation, your transformation. Everything. The delays, the cold glances, the conversations you were never meant to hear. They were never meant to destroy you. They were meant to reveal you, because until now you've been hiding behind love, behind loyalty, behind the comfort of, at least they didn't leave me. But now you understand, some people never left because they needed a front row seat to your downfall. Yet here you are, still rising, still glowing, still covered by the divine hand that refused to let you collapse. You are not alone, and you were never weak. You were learning. But now, the test is over. The truth has spoken, and the burden has been lifted. Let it stay lifted. No more internal negotiations. No more bending until your spirit breaks. No more translating your discernment into apologies. You are stepping into a version of yourself that no longer needs permission to be protected because, beloved, heaven has already moved on your behalf. You don't see it yet, but the shift is undeniable. Conversations are happening about you in rooms of light. Hearts are being stirred to bless you from people you've never even met. Opportunities are circling, waiting for your full alignment to unlock their release. And the delay? It is done. What they tried to delay, God is about to accelerate because of your obedience, because you listened, because you stayed soft even when you were breaking. Heaven calls that faith, and faith like yours never goes unrewarded. So let's be clear. You don't need closure. You don't need validation. You don't need another conversation that ends with your soul in pieces. You need space. You need clarity. You need presence, the divine kind. And that, beloved, is already with you. Look around. The signs are appearing. The weight is lifting. The peace is returning. That's not an accident. That's alignment. You've released what you weren't meant to carry, and now heaven is handing you what you were born to hold. A life not built on performance but on purpose. A peace not earned by pretending but birthed through surrender. A destiny that doesn't require compromise, only obedience. Because this was never about who betrayed you. This was about who you're becoming. Because of it, you are not just healing, you are activating the gifts inside of you that were lying dormant. They're waking up. The visions you were too afraid to speak, they're gaining volume. The confidence you buried under people-pleasing, it's returning like wildfire. This is your moment, not because of them, but in spite of them. And I must tell you this, the next blessing is not small, it's not quiet, it's not something you can hide behind humble smiles and half-closed doors. It is loud, it is heaven-backed, it is undeniable, and those who once sat silently during your struggle will have no choice but to watch your rise. But you will not gloat, you will not boast, because your heart, it stayed pure, and God loves that. Heaven is proud of you. And now, your only task is this. Do not go back to what broke you. Do not revisit what heaven removed. Do not rehearse the wound when you've been handed a miracle. Do not try to rebuild where God has cleared the ground. Something new is coming, and it has your name on it. Your real name, not the one they misunderstood, not the one they misused, not the one they diminished to feel bigger. Your heavenly name, the one written in divine light. The one attached to your purpose, your future, and your freedom. And as I close this message, I leave you with this. You are not behind, you are not late, you are not broken, you are becoming. And the world is about to see what heaven has always known. You were chosen not to fight people, but to overcome patterns, chosen not to stay hidden, but to stand boldly in the light of your truth, chosen not to survive silently, but to rise publicly with peace as your crown. So breathe, stand tall, and say this with your spirit. I receive my release. I walk in my calling, and I no longer apologize for being protected. If this message awakened something deep inside you, if you felt the truth press against your chest like breath from heaven, then don't let it pass silently. Comment below, "I am ready to rise." Like this message so others can find their freedom too. And subscribe for more divine words that speak to your spirit exactly when you need them. Because from now on, you don't follow the noise, you follow alignment.